Florida. We're going to go live on Instagram. Okay, so Sam, once we go... Oh, you went live.
Should I go? Oh, you. Oh, do you?
I could join on yours.
No, you're here. You can do it. Why don't you do it, and then I'll join. That works.
Cool.
I'm like bad with Instagram Live.
No, I appreciate all the...
Works, so then it like connects our accounts.
Okay, I'm live now.
So then, should I request to join?
Yeah. Hey guys, getting ready to do a live now. Oh, Sam, once we're live on both, or once we're audio on both places, we'll only listen. Hey guys, getting ready out of our phone. So we'll basically just mute the sound coming out of our computers, so we can only hear what's on our phone. Live with well-being strategist. I'm just going to tag you here.
Yeah.
Strategist. Oh, there's your request.
Strategist. I'm just going to tag you here.
Awesome. There you are. At Sam Pollack.
Yeah. So should we talk here or on Zoom here?
So if you guys on Instagram ask questions, then we'll pay attention to this. I'm gonna give both of mine. I'm gonna be looking in the same direction, but I'm gonna make eye contact with you wherever you are. So the Zoom camera probably, because that's the audio that matters the most. That's where it'll be on iTunes and all that. So.
Okay, cool.
All right, post. Let me pin that. Cool. Hit record on Zoom. Awesome. Just put this tripod in place. Boom. Awesome. All right, ready? All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today and have an awesome guest with us here in the state of Florida. But Florida's so long, so she's still probably like 7 hours away from me. I'm down here at the bottom. She's up in the northern part of Florida. We have Sam Pollack, who is a well-being strategist and awesome human. And I came across her Instagram page not too long ago, maybe a week or two ago, and saw the vibes she was sharing with her audience, all the love and light she was sharing, and reached out to her and asked her if she wanted to have a fun conversation with me. And here we are today. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Sam. And if you can share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I am Sam, like Noelle said. I'm, from South Florida originally. And it's 5 hours away from me, I think I would say. Like 5.5. So I'm a well-being strategist. And what I do is I help overwhelmed humans really learn strategies to calm down, reduce their anxiety, and really live a radiant life, like flow through life easily, find abundance in everything. And I use a mix of Eastern ritual and Western psychology to do that. So that's like meditation, active meditation, mindfulness, some like Western psychology, EC theory, a bunch of fun stuff that I get into.
You're doing all sorts of cool stuff. So my question always is, because I'm always curious for everybody, because like we're seeing the 2020 version of Sam, who has all these different modalities and helping people all these different ways. I'm always curious. Like, I know we come here as little unconditional, loving little babies, and for a lot of us, we forget who we truly are along the way. And it's always my hope that everybody has the light bulb come back on sooner or later, so that we can enjoy this life like you're helping people do. So how did that look for you? Did you go from unconditional, loving little baby to just like poof, the version that we see here today, or was there a different path for Sam?
Yeah, there's definitely been a path and a journey that I started getting into my healing journey when I was 20, and it all started with the music festival scene, and I was more exposed to going outside and camping and just more of a free kind of nature. Growing up, I felt my creativity was kind of stunted. I was always into art, but I was kind of raised to do, doctor, lawyer, this is what you need to do to be successful. And then as I got older and I was exposed to more of the natural world, it was really kind of like a wake up for me. And I started exploring the chakra system, which is a huge part of my work. And then I started teaching at music festivals about meditation and food and healing, and it really sparked this need to get my message out to more people. And I traveled. I went to Italy and I lived there for 4 months, and that was really where I saw the world expanding and difference in cultures. And I studied global strategic communications in college, and my master's degree was in that. And that was really like cultural exposure. And then I came back to the U.S. and kind of was just shook with all of this knowledge. And I graduated college. I was unsure what I wanted to do. I road tripped to the U.S. for 3 months. Drove from Florida to California with 2 of my best friends, and then road tripped around California for 3 weeks. Went to the Oregon Eclipse Festival and saw the eclipse with 60,000 other people, and just had a lot of these spiritual awakenings one after another. And then I came back and I had to decide what I was going to do. So I ended up getting a job in clean water advocacy, which was what I thought was my passion in life. And it ended up just being another desk job and Excel spreadsheets, and I wanted to make an impact. So I thought, how can I do this? What can I do? I had got interested in herbalism and plant studies while I was living in DC. I started going to herbalism school. The week I graduated, I quit my 9 to 5, and then I started apprenticing in herbalism. And then from there, when that was over, I went to Israel, and I lived in Israel for 3 months. And that was really a huge, internal shadow work. I lived in the desert. There was a lot of ancestral healing, connection with the land and myself. Then I came back to Florida, and I birthed my business. And it's just kind of been internal work since then. And then after 6 months of living at home, I got certified in mindfulness and well-being strategy, which was all of these modalities and chakra work, Eastern West psychology, that kind of stuff. And my mentor for that was actually someone I met when I was in Israel. So it's all very connected.
Super interesting. You took us on a journey all over the globe just now, and I find it fascinating, and this is a great reminder for everybody in the audience how you mentioned first, it's the first evolution of your journey, music festivals, which I don't think many people would think, oh, I'm gonna have light bulb moment but that's just an example how anytime, anywhere, from anyone, we can have a light bulb come on and could be something so impactful for our life. And it's just I haven't been to as many festivals around the world as I would like to yet. However, there's some that I know exist out there that I'm like, I'm going to go to that one, I'm going to go to that one. But was this American Music Festival, the one that you...
Yeah, it was actually Swanee Halloween. It happens in Live Oak, Florida. And, well, that was the first one I went to, but that was really where the, awakening happened. I couldn't understand why people were spending, $300, $400 for a weekend festival. So I volunteered. I was on the trash team, and I picked up trash to pay for my ticket as a work exchange. And that was a huge eye-opener for about just trash production, human waste. I also focused on natural living and low waste, low tox lifestyle. So that was really a huge shock for that, how much, not just a personal impact, but how big of an impact an event has in terms of trash. And while I was picking up trash, I found this beautiful crystal under a tree, and I was like, the universe is thanking me. And yeah, I just think there's so much freedom in dance and movement at festivals, and that was really something I hadn't been exposed to before.
I love it. I love it. Such an interesting journey. Everybody out there, just be open to, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you've been listening for a while, you're obviously open to just the evolution of life. And for all of us, we're going to always be expanding, like, as long as we're here. And I'm so excited for anyone that has now chosen to expand consciously, like on purpose, like where they're just open to it. Because then we realize that it's a forever thing, and you just never know like what things will come into our life, or what places or people or circumstances to allow that evolving. So life becomes really just what we really intended it for it to be. It's just this really exciting, like interesting journey where there's going to be some challenges, and there's also going to be some awesome moments, but they're just different moments of this physical experience that we chose to come here and have. And that leads into what I'm curious about when it comes to your title, which I love, being a well-being strategist. What I guess I would love for you to describe what that means to you, and then even like just the root of it, of well-being, what that would mean to you. I think that would be valuable for people out there.
Yeah, of course. So, well-being strategist to me is, well, the term well-being in general is being in a good, happy state and just content. It's really contentment. That's the real definition of well-being. So, when I thought about what I was going to call myself, I thought about, it was after my certification that really helped spark this title for me, when I was combining herbalism, natural living, low tox life, meditation, mixed with that positive Western psychology. It was really the well-being strategist that I don't want to call myself a coach, because what I do really is strategy for individual people. So what may work for your well-being may not work for someone else's. So it's coming up with a plan that will work for you to get you to that place of contentment. To just the way I describe contentment is just like a big sigh, like the sigh of relief. That's how I describe it.
I love it. I love it. And it's such a good, like, content and pause. There we go. That vibration, that energy that you just described, and for everybody out there, like, I use vibration, energy, frequency, mood. I use all these like interchangeably as frequencies. Like, am I in a good mood? And that's kind of like judging our mood, but we like to label things as humans. So we have these words like happy, sad, joyful, depressed, all these words to describe energy. And that's just what we're trying to do, is just describe feelings. Like, we can actually, in 2020, can be measured scientifically, which is awesome. Like, that made a big impact on my life once it went from, these conversations that, maybe I was reading in books or having about energy, and then to be able to see that, like, scientifically, I've seen my energy measured from, like, my thoughts. Like, think about this. They were prompting me to think about, like, times where it was like rough time in my life, and I saw what my energy did on like an actual chart. And then think about a time we were on top of the mountain, and I saw what my energy could do from there. And so it's like, whoa, they can measure that from our hearts. Like, they can measure the energy from an entire room of people and say, oh, the frequency in this room is, here. And it's just like, it's awesome to be there. So it doesn't sound so like, woo-woo or out there. But when it comes to what you just described as well-being and just that content place, or a peaceful place, that's really where I like for my like baseline to be. Not that I stay there all the time, like that's not, but I'm very aware of when I am and when I'm not. And that, like, another word for self-awareness is self-honesty. So it's like, can we be like honest with ourselves? And I guess more importantly, does it even matter to us? And I guess I would like to, it's interesting. I want to ask you, Sam, since I know that you have, because it obviously matters to you, like being a well-being strategist and helping people with that. Why does it matter to you? And I don't really use the word should, but why might it be a good idea for anyone for it to matter, whether you're like being well-being or being content or being at peace? Like, what do you feel some of the advantages for you are as you're in this state of being?
I mean, the first thing it really relates to is the health and like kind of like what you're like the vibration and just maintaining your vessel, really, because it's like when the importance of being content, opening your eyes and not feeling stressed and feeling like you have to immediately jump into your day or wanting to sleep more. And it's proven that meditation increases lung capacity. It can help restore the myelin sheath in the brain and the neural pathways. Like continued meditation, there's multiple studies at Harvard, like proud, very prestigious universities that talk about the actual long-term effects of people that have meditated for many years. But it's not even about long-term. It can be just learning a simple 4-part breath that you can do in 20 seconds that brings awareness back to the body. And something you said you were talking about self-awareness, and when you're using like vibration and the words happy and sad and stuff, and I think I use words like that because sometimes there are people that they don't have that awareness. So when you bring it to them in that capacity, like my parents or someone who, I'm fine, I'm content, because they're not really aware of what's happening in their body because they're so disconnected to their systems. And what I always teach is the first step is awareness, and then the second step is discipline. Because there are a lot of people walking around aware that they want change, aware that they're stressed, anxious, have some negative thought patterns, want to flow more easily through life and really just love their day-to-day, but they're not putting in the work. And it doesn't just happen like that. So, yeah.
So important. 100%. Like, I'm so happy that you just brought that up, Sam, because that's the thing. Like, the reason that, like, one of the main foundational reasons that I do what I do is because I want all humans to have the awareness, because before the awareness, we don't even have a choice. Like, it's just kind of like, if you're not aware of something, then you're not going to choose anything different, if you don't even know what's going on. And so like, we have blind spots and things that, like for me, I had blind spots in my life that before I like became aware of them, then I couldn't do anything about them. And they were really affecting my day-to-day, moment-by-moment energy. And then once I did become aware of them, like Sam said, because it mattered to me, because I realized how they were affecting my life in a way that I didn't really enjoy. Like, for instance, I used to be really critical of myself and really critical of just I have a critical like vibe, and people who know me now would be like, I can't see that with you, Noel. Well, yeah, because this is a part of my life that it mattered to me to actually begin to practice. And over the last decade, you practice anything for a while, you're going to get better and better and better at it, to where that part of my life, like now, Sam, after years of practice and like discipline and like it mattering, if I catch myself having one critical thought of myself or others, I'll say, stop it, Noel. Like that's after one thought, not like a full hour of thoughts or a day or weeks of being critical all week. Like we've all been there. And I've definitely probably had whole years where I was just critical of life. And if any year would be an easy year to be critical, might be this year for a lot of us. But we don't have to, we could be aware of, okay, this is what is going on. I'm aware of it. And now I'm choosing to still want to focus on what I can do with what I have from where I am. And most importantly, how I'm going to do it. Like what version of me am I going to bring to this moment of now, which is all that exists for any of us. Life becomes, it really becomes, the power is ours. Like we give all of our power back to us, and it doesn't have to do with anything, external once we become aware of this. So I love that so much.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, like this year is such a time to be self-critical. And I think before the pandemic even was happening in the world, I was talking really a lot about self-compassion and how that is a huge theme, because you're aware, you bring in the discipline, but also not having all that negative critical talking to yourself about, I didn't do this today, or I couldn't meditate for 20 minutes. But I think people try and jump in, and it takes 21 days to create a new habit. People say that about working out, anything. So like you were saying, now when you catch yourself having a thought, you're immediate. But having that compassion as you're working toward your goal is so important, to not stop the progress that you've already made before it really gets implanted in your just like order, your DNA. Absolutely.
This is interesting. I want to hit on something, Sam, that I've never hit on before in a podcast, and that always makes me happy when I get to talk about things that, because like I've talked about compassion before, of course, and the best definition that I've ever heard and that I give when it comes to compassion is, this makes it very easy for us to be compassionate, out there, is, regardless of what someone's experience may be, in the world or around us, and we've all been there. Like we've all been frustrated. We've all probably been depressed. We've all been sad. We've all experienced the whole human experience. So can we maintain our connection, that contentness that Sam was mentioning? And for me, energy, as we label it, whenever there has more momentum, where content can go from I can be content or at peace, and then all of a sudden have a really good idea pop in my mind. I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea. I'm excited about that. So now there's just more momentum, going behind that contentment, and then that excitement can turn into I'm really passionately doing something that like I'm just want to put my time and energy into, and so that's a stronger momentum. And so momentum will carry us to these places. So it's like, can we at least maintain our connection with who we truly are, with the divine, with God, universe, love, all that is, spirit, source, infinite intelligence, nature, whatever it is that we resonate with out there, regardless of what the world or others around us may be going through? Can we maintain our connection? Which, if you've maintained it, if you're at that content place or peaceful place or anything with more momentum than that, where you're feeling good, you're feeling connected, then from that place, you're not going to ever say anything or think anything or take any action towards someone of a critical or judging or blaming or condemning nature, because you can't be connected, be who you truly are, and condemn and judge someone and blame someone and say someone's a jerk. You can't be at the same time. So it's one or the other. So what I've never really spoken about before, because it's interesting, because I'm wrapping my mind around it, as far as self-compassion goes, and those moments especially, like if you want to be compassionate to yourself, you have to be connected to your heart. So if you do notice yourself being compassionate to yourself, like you can give yourself so much love and so much like credit, so to speak, because you're connected. And the only way that you're going to be able to be compassionate to yourself is through that connection. Because we're not talking about like, maybe you're in a frustrated mood, but you see somebody and you just like, oh wow, they were really experiencing life. Like, I just want to send them so much love. So now my vibration just raised because I'm, putting my energy and attention on another human being. And, you might not do that also. You might be frustrated and see them and be like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to get away from this. It's already been a rough day. I don't want any of this around. So you might not do that. But when it comes to others, like maybe you might be in the habit of raising your vibration because you want to help somebody. When it comes to ourselves, it's like you really have to be connected, because if right now I can't be frustrated myself and compassionate to myself at the same time. Like this is like we're in the energy that you're in. So self-compassion is an interesting one. And my advice to everybody is, if you notice yourself, experiencing life again in an energy where it just doesn't feel so good, don't beat yourself up for it. Like it just, because you're only going to feel worse. Like momentum will pick up for sure. Like energy is never staying still. So I like to pay attention, Sam, whether my energy is going towards like just love and joy, or if it's going towards like, angry, upset, powerless, depressed. Like which direction? Not making myself right or wrong for either, but I like to be mindful of it so that then I have the choice to, to maybe allow it to go in a different direction if I should so choose.
Yeah, that is also great. It's also so funny. My mentor, who was the first one to talk to me about self-compassion, joined the Instagram live right as you were talking about that. So it's really cool. Yeah, all of I totally feel that, and something I talk about so much is like building resilience, and that's basically what you're talking about. When how can you be frustrated and compassionate at the same time, and especially about yourself. So I think that's really awesome. Yeah, like everything's relating together. Yeah.
I love it. For me, if I can help anyone just have the awareness of what we're talking about, like I'm just so happy for them, because then it will be a choice as far as, does this matter enough to me to practice it? And none of us are permanently like happy. None of us are permanently enlightened. None of us are permanently sad. I don't ever, Sam, let anyone label themselves around me. And typically people will label themselves in a kind of a self-deprecating way, like, oh, I'm an anxious person. Like I say, like sometimes. Like it is just, the answer to all of these labels is always sometimes, because nobody is ever always one way, regardless of who you are out there. Even the monk in the monastery could be a little bit at fear or, frustrated or whatever at times. Like but they're very aware of it, and I'm sure they don't stay there very long because of practice. And so that's all I care about for humanity is, just helping more people have this light bulb come on, because this is who all of us truly are. And we didn't need to be taught this when we were just unconditional loving little babies, when all we were focused on is the present moment. And this is why I like to use babies or just kids, and then also animals as good teaching tools, just to be present to them, because they're living life how all of us truly came here to live. They're present and they're in the moment, and Like they're just looking for things that are enjoyable for them. Feed me, play with me, all of these things.
Yeah, exactly. Like before any external factors were able to alter their opinions, and yeah, and a lot of those things I find are things that people hold on to, and then they tell themselves, and then they become their own bullies, and they perpetuate these thoughts that have been told to them maybe one time, but that's something that they tell themselves for years, and then they internally, subconsciously make it a part of their identity, when really that's not who they are at all. And they blame it on the other person, but it's really something that they've just carried for a long time. So yeah, I think, and what you were saying, like, I am, people say I'm anxious, it's like remembering to add the word feeling. Like, I'm feeling anxious, I am feeling sad, and it really is not about, you are, and just dropping in and really remembering, like you're saying, that baby or that like animalistic instinct inside of you to remind you that we are a part of nature, and we are just mammals at the top of the food chain, in one with nature. So
Absolutely. That I've never heard that used. I don't think ever when you just describe it. Like it hit me because we do. I used to bully myself a lot. Like I was so hard on myself. Like I was an athlete, like all the way up, and if I had what I perceived to be a bad game, like I was so hard on myself, and then nobody wanted to be around me. I didn't want anyone around me. It was just like, how many of us out there are being really hard on ourselves, and I even like the self-bullying. That's really what we're doing, because sometimes we're harder on ourselves than we would ever be with anybody else. So
yeah, that was something that came to me. I was in Costa Rica, and I was doing a Reiki. Someone was performing Reiki on me, and she said that she sensed bully energy, and I had that revelation that it wasn't that I was bullying myself, that it wasn't about anyone else, it was me that was bullying me, and that has been something that has raised my awareness. That was like one more level up in my journey about healing and things like that. Yeah, that has, in my life, realizing that I am being my own bully right now, and how do I step out of that role and be my biggest supporter?
I love that. That's the first time I've ever heard that. This is what's fun about having these conversations with all you awesome humans. Is like, I'll definitely use that as an example at some point with someone. It'll fly out of my mouth. And I'll give you credit the initial few times, and then eventually I'm going to adopt it as my own and be like, I learned that from Sam once upon a time.
Yeah, because it's so relatable.
Yeah.
People can always think of a time where they've perpetuated a thought that one person said, and months, years later, and if you were to go back to that person, they probably wouldn't even remember that conversation or anything that they said to you. So I think it's a good reminder.
For sure. So I'm going to ask you a question now that I'm always curious to ask, because anytime I ask someone this, if I asked you this a year later, you would have had a year more of life experiences. So there will likely be an evolved answer to this, like what you're going to share now, and then probably some other things because you're going to live more life. So it's a vision question, and I'm always curious, like, what your vision is for whether your life or the things that you're doing and creating. And then also, I'm sure you have, like, what your vision is for humanity. I'm sure you've thought about probably that as well. I love hearing people's vision questions.
Yes, such big questions. So I would say we'll start with my vision for myself. So I currently do coaching, group coaching, corporate speaking events, all that kind of stuff, and I would love to. I've always been more in the teacher role. I was a tutor my whole life, babysitter. Those like the jobs that I usually leaned towards, and I would love to buy property somewhere, not sure in the U.S. or South America, Central America, open a teaching school that has farming, permaculture, East meets West, all those types of principles, and have just kind of like a different type of learning environment for people to come and work and, like neuroscience, intuitive intelligence, emotional intelligence, all of that, science of happiness, building resilience. There's kind of, having a school is definitely my high vision that I hold for myself, and just being able to connect with people, even like the skills community of building out of sand and mud, like clay housing, things like that. Just a lot of alternative things that hopefully will not be so alternative in 10, 15 years from now, and just give them a space to be able to teach and learn and have exposure in a beautiful environment. Because I'm definitely impartial to the tropics, being a South Florida girl. So
as am I, Sam.
Yeah, so definitely some sort of school and just like evolving into that. Maybe, like I said in the beginning, I have always loved clean water advocacy. It's a cause that I really believe in, and so I see doing some sort of work with communities and well systems, and also creating an herbal garden, creating programs maybe in schools for herbalism and kitchen gardening, because I know I was not exposed to growing food when I was younger. Wasn't until I was in college that I really met someone with a garden that was growing vegetables, and I think that exposure at a young age could really alter a lot of people's lives. So I think educational programming is something that I'm really interested in. And then what were you saying?
I was just saying, I love it. I agree with Arjuna here, who's I know where he's out in India. He said, "Nice vision." I agree.
Yeah. And then in terms of humanity, well, I think we're, it's in a precarious spot in humanity right now, and a lot of people are waking up to ideas and different thoughts that they may have never been exposed to before. And so I'm really hoping that really come together as a world, because at this point, I hope that this event makes people realize how connected we really are, and just the parallel relationships between us right now talking on this call and someone on the other side of the world, 10,000 miles away, and that our lives are connected even though we are so far away. And I think that's kind of an out there concept, but just really understanding the symbiotic relationship between all beings and working towards that. Like, we got to figure out something about the environment. We got to we're going to have disease. Like, we need to put more money into global health and police brutality and defunding the police and all of those topics that are so important right now, that are finally getting their time, their well-deserved time on stage. And I'm hoping that humanity just comes together and wakes up to the principles of permaculture and contentment and well-being. And that is my hope. And my hope is to be the one that exposes a lot of this to people on this earth. So
I love it. You've inspired me so much. And now I'm going to share things that will be great reminders for the audience and, for all of us. And really, I always want people to know how manifestation works, like how life works, because we all have lived the life experience that we lived up until today. We are however old we are, and we've lived as many years as we've lived. And now we have as clear of a picture as of this moment as we ever have in our life, as far as what we'd like to see in our lives and also what we'd like to see in humanity. And Sam just did a beautiful job of illustrating that from her human experience and what she's seen and what she wants to see involved in her life and for humanity. And we've all had that. And so the way for any of us to live that out, to create that, is for us to put our focus and our attention and our energy on that, knowing that what's going on right now is really, it's past tense energy that we're looking at. If it's already manifested, then there's already been the collective energy or the individual energy, depending on what we're looking at, that has gone into manifesting that thing or that condition for the collective or whatever it is. And so I love knowing this, because then I can see the things that, the rest of us see. I'm living in the world as well, like here in 2020. So I see the things like police brutality or any of the rest of the stuff that's going on. And at the same time, I understand that just drives more desire for me to see what I would like to see in this world, which is equality, which is us loving each other and helping each other. And for us to live in this, like, I see the world as like we can create just like this utopia where we can, like, that word's not very used very often, but I don't see why we can't create it. Especially, look what we're doing right now. Like, we're hundreds of miles away. I could just as easily connect with any of you guys on here that are thousands of miles away, like any corner of the globe, and we can all combine our life experiences to where Sam has lived things that those of you guys out here haven't lived. You guys have lived things that I and Sam haven't lived. And if two people come together or more that actually want to help each other create a common, a common vision, then the energy just continues to multiply, and you attract others to that vision that also want to see what you want to see in the world, whether it be in the environment or whatever it is. So I just want people to realize that what you're seeing now is already done. Nobody on earth has the power to unmanifest anything. It doesn't work that way. But we all have the power as creators, and being who we truly are, just the non-physical energy that's just this housed in this physical avatar that we call Noel, Sam, and whoever you're out there. We can create whatever it is that we desire, and we'll attract to us people, places, circumstances, ideas along the journey that will assist us in that vision. We don't have to know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who needs to be involved, all this stuff. Like that's not a required part of the creation process. All that stuff will be attracted synchronistically when we're ready for it, when we're a frequency match, when we're being the energy of the vision that we want to see. That's when you have the idea from it. That's when you attract the people that are going to be involved in it. Not before that. You're not gonna say one day that I want to see equality, but then spend all your attention and energy on putting more attention on hate and injustice and all this stuff, and that's where your energy is. All you can really do from there is create more of that, especially if you're going out and trying to fight against, like, that's not the way to manifest new, by fighting against what already is. You're trying to unmanifest something that's manifested. So now we can create what we want to see, and I'm just excited for more of us to realize that that's how it all works. What happened to my Zoom just now? Are you still here on Zoom with me?
Yeah, it went away for a second.
Let's
it says it's connecting.
Interesting. Let's figure this out.
Oh, it says it's connecting.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good. It was me and the big screen and the small screen. I was like, I don't want to see myself twice.
Sorry. My internet might
You're good.
have done something weird. Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry. Okay, we're all good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. No, what you're and it cut you off. I'm sorry. If that was, if you want to continue. Okay.
No, really, everything.
That was all. Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah, everything that I'm asking the universe to show me right now is ways that we can all come together. And Sam, I just want everybody to wake up every day and ask themselves two questions, because I know that we can. Is what sounds most fun today, and what sounds most fulfilling today? And those questions, like what's fulfilling to you is also fun to do, and what's fun for you is also, these like merge together, but there's really no other question, because for those out there where like you see the environment, you're like, I really want to put time and energy into that. But right now, maybe you're spending the majority of your week doing something totally unrelated to the environment, because right now you're needing to pay the bills and to live and all this stuff. Like I see a world where, because of how much value we all have collectively, the more we come together and help each other and provide the life experience and the knowledge and everything that we have access at our fingertips with all this technology, we can help each other have all the time that we want to put into these causes that we want to see evolve, and have a blast while doing it, helping each other all around the world and going to some music festivals along the way and like all this stuff. Like this is the world that I see for all of us and that I want to live in. And as long as I'm breathing, like I'm going to put my attention and energy on that, and then attract more humans like you, Sam, that also are excited about that.
Yeah, exactly. I think what you were saying is just like the way I would describe it is really just like dropping in and doubling that devotion and asking yourself like that unwavering faith and getting that, what can I do? Not worrying about the collective, but what is my role that will then cause the domino effect and the energy and the vibration to manifest what, in real time and for the future and not in the past tense, like you were saying. And yeah, I think that's so important. And I really feel the fun question. That's something that I've been working on a lot. Like, does this feel fun? What feels most fun for work, for writing, for, I thought about starting a blog or a podcast, and I'm like, what feels more fun? Like, that was actually something that I asked myself about it, or could I do both, or does both feel fun? And I think that it seems so simple, and well-being in general yourself a lot of simple questions, but then when you really think about it and you look at the answer, you're like, whoa, I have to process this, because I just wrote down something that I thought was so simple, and then really just like staying in that.
I love it. I love it so much. And I wanted to just encourage everybody out there, Sam, that any vision that we have that we want to see in the world, it's not as far away as we think that it is. And as long as we think it's far away, like this goes for any area of life, the further away that we think our visions are, the further away that they actually are. But when we can start to realize that we don't have to know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who it's going to be, all these details that will typically just make us anxious, then it just becomes about getting back to being present in this moment and bringing the version of ourselves, like we talked about throughout this episode. What version of you are you going to bring to this moment? And then all of a sudden things come into your life, people come into your life where it's like, whoa, not only am I closer to that than I thought, like I'm living it right now. Like it doesn't, like we can collapse time to where, like, stay off of like the how long it's going to take and how it's going to be. Like that's not your work. Like that doesn't, all that can do is like keep the vision away from you. Because again, if it feels way far out, like if you're like I'm going to have this relationship coming in my life, but it's probably going to take like 5 years. Then yeah, probably going to take like 5 years. It doesn't have to, or I'm going to have this awesome business. And, I know this is going to be, it's going to be a long time before I'm ready to have this awesome business. So it doesn't have to be. Just get back to enjoying the moment that you're in and allow the synchronicities of life to work for you. And that's how they'll always work for all of us. So, so much fun. I'm always curious, like anything that I haven't brought up that you're inspired, that maybe you've been talking about a lot with clients or with other people, that you're like, I want to make sure that if somebody hears this 48 years from now, that they hear this from Sam, and anything at all that wants to flow out of you that I haven't brought up.
Wow, I feel like we've covered a lot. I will say that one of my core belief, the reason I started my business and everything, is that all of us have, like, the power to heal lies within us all. And I think that when I first started all of this work 3 years ago or so, and helping others and teaching others, a lot of things in my business have changed, but that sentiment, the power to heal lies within us all, has maintained and grown with my business as I've grown. and I think it's just really dropping in and, like you said, living as if you already have it, and really embodying that feeling, not thinking, oh, I'll have this in 5 years, but being grateful for where you are today and embodying that feeling that you wish to have will naturally just flow in. And like I've seen from clients and people, it happens a lot faster than people think, and then you can start to play with it. I'm sure you've experienced this, Noelle. It's like good and bad coming towards you, like focusing on a certain thing once you're really tapped in. But just as simple as integrating a cup of herbal tea into your morning routine, or taking 3 minutes to do a breath work, or even like a breath work exercise, and discovering that we all have the power. We all have the power to not press snooze, put our feet on the floor, stand up, get out of bed, and just do it. Just do the thing and really get it going. And it's obviously easier said than done. And I think that we as humans are addicted to self-sabotage, and our brains function at this place where I've survived so long in this feeling, in this way, why should I make a change? If I've survived this long, because you're in fight or flight mode, not really dropping into the parasympathetic nervous system, really just in that responsive state, your body is kind of, it's not really understanding why you should be doing something else if you've been able to survive this long. So I think just self-sabotage is something that I talk a lot about with my clients. That's something we haven't covered really. So yeah, I think just where in your life are you perpetuating patterns that may not be serving you, and where are you telling yourself that these patterns are serving you, but they actually aren't. So that could be foods, TV, partner, any recreational drugs. It could be anything that that falls into those categories of a pattern, you know, like eating foods, such anything. And yeah, I think that really examining that is something important that can help people overcome obstacles. And it all comes back to awareness.
Absolutely. I love the example that you just in the explanation that you just gave, like you were giving us insight into how you operate as far as some of the questions that you ask. And it's so valuable for us to all know that we can ask any question to God, universe, love, all that is, source, whatever it is that you relate to, resonate with out there. And the answer will find us. Maybe not right that second, it can. However, just know that once you've asked the question, now when you drop back in, like Sam used like in her language, and you are in that content, peaceful place, like the answers can find us so easily from infinite ways. Like any question that you have on how can, like whatever follows that, like the answer will come to you. And you can see how mindful Sam is with the advice that she gave as far as, you know, just doing like as simple as like drinking some tea in the morning or some 3 minutes of breath work. Like these are frequency raisers. Like everything that she described there is to lift, it's purposely, she's consciously raising her frequency, raising her vibration. And for everybody out there, we all have things that do this for us as well. It's just very important to know what it is. Like I wake up in the morning, I use the bathroom, I drink some cold water, which feels good to me, like refreshes me, because after I'm sleeping, like I feel a little dehydrated, so I drink some water, and then I meditate. And like after I'm done meditating, and I meditate for just as long as it takes for me to feel connected, for me to feel in the flow, to feel that peace. Like it could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes, could be a half an hour. Sometimes some visualizations will start flowing in, and I get really excited to just allow those thoughts to flow. And then after that, I normally put on some music, and I'm like playing music through my house, like from my high vibe playlist. And so, yeah, it's just like, but these are all purposely to raise my frequency. And I highly recommend everybody out there, do the same for you, because that's only going to allow you to just two things. A, it's gonna, if you do that, especially to start your day, it's going to allow you to right off the bat, like you're already like in flow, like you're already. We think 70,000 thoughts on average every day. So if you don't think about your vibration until like noon, and you've already thought 30,000 thoughts that were maybe anxious or worried, and now you're like, okay, I've been in a rough mood today. Like let me fix this. You can. It's just more challenging than if thought 1, 2, and 3 were just thoughts of gratitude, where it's like I'm just happy to be awake, and just starting from that flow. And then the second thing that happens is you notice, not that you permanently stay in gratitude all day, but you'll notice if you go from feeling grateful or feeling peaceful to all of a sudden, like, around that 10,000 thought, like you start to feel anxious, like, ooh, that feels a lot different than how I felt to start my day. Now you're aware of it. Now the choice is yours if you want to keep going in that direction to where your whole day rolls in cycles like that, or if you're like, oh, thank you for showing me this. Thank you for being aware of this little indicator, this little whatever it is, and now you can move back in the direction that you want to go if you want to. No, not a requirement. It's up to us how we want to live in the movie of life. Like if you want it to be like today, if you want it to be like drama scene where it's like, whoo, that's a rough day. It's a choice. You can for sure. Just leave your house and cuss everybody out on the way, yell at your dog, yell at your friends and family, and then go live the drama day. Or if you want to live like a fun action adventure or a love story or whatever it is, we get to choose.
So important. It's something that everyone talks about, and anyone listening to this podcast, like if you have struggle setting a morning routine, don't try and make it. Doesn't have to be 25 minutes, an hour long. Start with something 10 minutes to bring awareness to like what Noelle is saying to, oh, I felt so good after that. And like dancing is something I didn't mention, and just even like shaking, not even dancing, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable dancing, which then ask yourself, what is your connection to your body, and maybe re-examine that role. But even just shaking out your body and moving the stagnant energy through you, especially during this time where we're a lot more in our homes, is so important, because you're having all these thoughts, and if you're not moving, if you're staying stagnant, your energy is just going to remain and absorb all of those things. So absolutely.
I want to ask one question on here that Arjun and India, I hope you're still on here, Arjun, because it's a good question, and this will help. Yes. This will help somebody for sure. I'll let you answer it first, Sam, and then I'll answer it also. Well, if you have something that you want to answer with it. But he says during this COVID COVID thing. Many of us have missed face-to-face interaction and are somewhat locked inside. How can we keep ourselves self-motivated, connected, and positive?
Awesome. So I'd say it all kind of can be simple in the sense that I would set a goal to give yourself one task per day that would keep yourself motivated, so that when you check that off, however long it takes you, even if it's just 15 minutes, something that really helps you work towards your well-being. So ask yourself what that is and decide a task that takes no longer than 30 minutes so that you feel like you've made an achievement every single day, even if you're not having face-to-face interaction. I think that will keep you motivated. A way to stay connected, there are a lot of online communities now doing free meditation, yoga, exercises, all of that type of stuff. And I think finding a community like that, you can reach out to me or Noelle, and I would be happy to link you up to that. And if not, just really dropping into the self and doing a meditation is how I stay connected and positive. And not even calling it meditation, I think just conscious breathing. And the difference between like meditation and the breath is awareness. And so I think when you're just sit and put your hand on your heart, your stomach, and take 3 deep inhales and exhales in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then stay there, see how you're feeling, examine your thoughts a few times over and see how that makes you feel and if you feel more connected and positive. And I think just that simple trick could really start to cultivate a better outlook. And
And so we're such a great 1-2 punch right now, Sam, because here's what will happen if you choose to do everything that Sam just said and you focus on your vibration. And such good advice, Sam. I love it. And this is why I was excited for you to answer the question so I could share with you what happens if we apply this. Because here's what I love to know about life, and this will be so beneficial for anybody out there that hears this episode, whenever you hear this episode, is we don't have to exchange one valuable part of life for another. We can have it all. And so, like, God, the universe, knows your value for human connection. If that is something that you value. And so the good news for any of us, as a result of connecting with that power, being who we truly are, we have the desire for human connection. So I'll use myself as an example. When this whole quarantine first started, I was like, oh my gosh, people aren't as willing to communicate. I'm an extrovert. I'll talk to anybody at any time, anywhere. That's just how I flow. So at the beginning of quarantine, it was something that I was projecting. I was like, I don't think people are as willing to talk. I was starting to see stories. I'm seeing people wear a mask and all this stuff. So for a good 2 weeks, I had that story. And yeah, human connection was not a part of my life experience. And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't like how this is feeling. Some of the examples that I was using on podcasts were playful, but it was at the same time, I was like, I can just tell it is in my vibration as far as there's an attachment to not to having human connection and not having it right now. That's my energy, is the lack of it. And that just didn't feel good for me. And I was aware of it. So just by releasing that and saying, Noelle, what can you do with what you have from where you are? A lot of the things that Sam said, I just started focusing on the things that I could control, that I could do, putting beautiful energy into podcasts and conversations like these, and totally released it to where even if I went because I went 2 weeks without even a hug at the beginning of this. And I was like, for an extreme extrovert, that's just strange, because I hugged somebody that I just met, 5 seconds ago. And so that just was weird. But as soon as I released it to where, and when I say release it, I mean being okay, even if there wasn't going to be another hug in all of 2020, that type of release where it's just I'm totally at peace. I'm content with life as it is. The same day I released that, then the 2 weeks of no hug ended. I was going on a run, and then all of a sudden I was attracting people that, were open to talking with me, even if it was from a 6 feet away distance to start. It was just, and then all of a sudden, because the universe knows how human connection is my favorite part of life, people that also that was important to. And also, I'm gonna give you guys another piece, and it's so beautiful that well-being strategist is Sam's title. There's an energy, there's a frequency of well-being, of being who we truly are. I use well-being as another synonym for God, for universe, to love, to all this, being who we truly are. that's a frequency. Like illness and well-being, that's a much different frequency. So if I'm being in those couple of weeks where like I was like having little anxieties and all that stuff, they didn't take over my whole day, but that's a very similar energy, like the lack of human connection, like, oh, the powerless, like I wish I could go, hang out with people. That's how you feel when you're sick. So that's, if you want to be vulnerable to illness, just feel how you would feel prior to having an illness right now, and you're going to be vulnerable whether there's a pandemic going on or not. On the flip side, how do you feel when you're well? How do you feel if you embody that frequency now? Regardless if the virus is in your body right this second, your body will return back to its well-being state. And it's just what I love to know. So it's that doing what Sam described so that you can be connected, be who you truly are. And then as a result of that, all of the things that you desire in any area of life will be attracted to you when you don't. And I did a video about this yesterday. I've been doing lots of videos about this. Have the desire and not need it, that's when the desire will come. But if you need it, before you can feel the happiness, before you can feel the peace, it's going to be a while because you're more of a match to the lack of it. So you're just going to manifest more of that.
Exactly. Wow, that's so important. That's so when you need it or you want it, you feel like that's so important. I feel like that the most relevant example or relatable to that is with relationships, and when people are like, I want a partner, I want this, and once they release that and they're comfortable being alone, they always meet someone. Like the best couples, I feel always, we met when we weren't looking. It wasn't, yeah. And I feel like that's what I thought about when you were saying that.
I love it. That what I love about relationships, and I'll close out until Sam inspires me to say something else. And I want you to share with the audience anything that you want them to know as far as what you have going on. But when it comes to like human connection and like relationships, just knowing that we share a planet with 7.7 billion humans, like if we can just realize that if we just embody the version of what we want to see in a relationship, if we just embody how we'll feel like now, like we just bring or however many of whatever we want, the 7.7 billion humans, we just bring them to us. Like we don't have to go turning over every stone, looking around every corner. Like that's a different energy. Like if you're trying to find it, it's not going to be found. But if you can be okay where you are, just be content where you are, you could be thinking about any other subject on the planet. You don't have to be thinking about and it might actually be smart, especially if it's something that you really, really, really want. Think about anything else that has you in that connected place, and then what you want will just find you because you're ready for it. Because you're not pushing, you're not so resistant to it to where it can't find you. You're an energy match to it. So it's so important.
Yeah. So that was like I traveled so much, like I was talking about in the beginning, but that's why I came back to Florida, because I was looking in all these corners that I was going all over the world, but really it didn't matter where I was. It was within. So. Absolutely.
Anything you want to share with the audience that you have going on that you want them? You guys definitely connect with Sam on her links and stuff will all be here. Sam Pollack, which you got the handle, so that must not be so common of a name, which it seems like it would be, but you got it.
Yeah, I have had I am Sam Pollack across all platforms. I've actually had people message me to pay me for my platform. But yeah, I was one of those people that I started my Instagram when I was probably like 7th grade. I mean, I was 12, 13, when Instagram first came out, and I was posting a picture of the muffin I was eating for breakfast with no caption and the filter, that type of stuff. Yeah, so it's at Sam Pollack, SamPollack. You can find me on Instagram. My Facebook is also that name. Also on Twitter. And yeah, right now, currently, I am about to launch a group program called Radiance Uprising, and it is a 4-month group coaching program for the healer, the business owner, the 9-to-5er, really looking to go from overwhelmed being to just a radiant human and embodying kind of all that we've talked about, that flow and that contentment and feeling into what you desire and acting on it and honoring your body, whether that means taking action or resting. And for this program, I'm doing a free masterclass series Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. The first day is going to be on the science of happiness. The second day is going to be embodying light through breathwork. And the third day is going to be channeling your most radiant self. And I'm going to be doing different modalities, breathwork, meditation, positive psych, emotional intelligence, hot seat stuff on the calls. So it's going to be super great, and I'm going to be talking about the program as well and giving a little special offer on the last day. So if any of you would love to tune in, I'm going to be teaching a lot of good golden nuggets of information, going deeper about what we've talked about today. So for free.
I love it. I love it. Highly recommend you guys connect with Sam. And I'm so big on like following any type of energetic, like just even curiosity, because that curiosity will lead to a life experience if you actually go forward with it. And that life experience like is going to bring clarity into your life and direction. And that is the last thing I get to say on IGTV. Okay, back with you on Zoom. They got the point. I was promoting you. I'll share that.
I can't hear you on the computer because it ended.
Unmute. Come back to me on the computer. Remember, you muted yourself.
I'm the one that's muted. Sorry, I'm like, I can't hear you.
You're back. Got the little spinning rainbow. There you go.
I can't hear you again.
Can you now? You can.
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I took my headphone out so that because on the stream on Facebook, even though I'm going to close with you, they can only hear what's actually happening. So they were listening to actually the Instagram sound from you. So
okay.
What's actually real, like what's going to be on iTunes and Spotify, we've been recording the whole time here on Zoom.
Okay.
So, technology.
Yeah, it just ended. Maybe because it's been an hour. Maybe it has like a limit or something. I don't know.
You can't see the countdown. I'm always wondering about that. So you didn't see the countdown on Instagram?
Oh no.
Only I can see it. Okay. So I thought it was perfect. Like it was like you had wrapped. I was like she sees the countdown and she's like getting it all out. So I gave me like 10 seconds to. It was perfect. So.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, Instagram. I'm sure they'll probably extend that. I feel like I've been on IGTVs where they've been longer than an hour. But,
yeah.
For me, it's an hour. You must have to have some special clearance with IG. Maybe you need a blue check.
Yeah, I've never seen that, or I've never been on for an hour, so I've never personally experienced that. But yeah.
as you can see, I enjoy running my mouth just as much as asking questions. So it always goes about an hour with me.
Of course, I talk a lot too, so it's okay.
No, that was fun. Well, I really appreciate you for coming on and sharing your love and light. You guys definitely go connect with Sam on anything. No matter if you hear this 10, 20 years from now, she's doing something and she's evolved into even more of an awesome human that you guys are experiencing right now in this episode. And just thanks for coming and sharing your love and light with me, Sam, and with the audience. It's been a conversation I would want to have with you anyway, and just fun that it's recorded and now it can be shared. And people 40 years from now or 20 years from now, they probably won't need these computer screens or phones to view it. Like just like view it in a cloud above their head, literally. So, but either way, I appreciate you and just look forward to co-creating with you again in the future. First co-creation, and there'll be more. I'm affirming that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me on to talk today. I was super excited when you were like, "Oh, let's have a conversation," super on the fly, and I'm down for that. And I love talking about this kind of stuff. And I really resonated with your energy just from when I first saw your profile. So yeah, thank you so much. And to anyone listening, yeah, feel free to connect with me. I'll never give away Sam Pollack, so I will always be Sam Pollack. I would love to hear if at this podcast raise any thoughts for you. If you have any questions, find me, send me a message. I would love to send light and love your way.
I love it. Sam, no, I'm the only Noel strain on earth, but even a part of me was like, I guess I just thought that somebody, so the angel of abundance, like once I switched over to that, I had a spiritual teacher that, awesome human that said, if you ever start a sentence like this with me, like I'm going to be like all ears, I'm going to be all ears anyways, but she said, my spiritual guides want me to pass a message on to you, Noel, that they gave me in meditation. I was like, please share. And she said, they mentioned that you're going to be known as the angel of abundance for what you're creating and what you're doing like for humanity. And I was like, that is the most awesome nickname that I've ever had. Let me see if that's available on Instagram. And so it is, obviously. But then I created another page and I was like, I still want Noel Stray, just in case somebody tried to be funny and like, because I'm the only one on the planet. But if somebody like snatched that up. I was like, I just prefer that I have that, just so that no one had my first and last name like creating, in any way, shape, or form. So
That's awesome that you have both. Yeah.
and that's not for sale either out there, anybody. So just so you know.
Never being sold.
I love it. Well, you guys definitely share this episode. If you're listening to this live right now, hit the share button. This is what I love about streaming these. It gives people a chance to be impacted by this. And thank you guys that have been reviewing the podcast on iTunes. Definitely leave another one, and say, that Sam Human was awesome, and I became aware of this, and this. And I'll tag her, and you screenshot it and send it over to her. And I know she'll appreciate that. And that also makes it easier for people to find these episodes. And just sending you guys all so much love whenever you hear this. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Sam, thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys soon on another episode. Have a beautiful day whenever you hear this. Bye for now. Awesome. We're going to be in the stream, and I'll say bye to you, Sam. Don't go yet.
Bye. Okay.